is going to be the next big Venom villain, and they are trying to say that they think that is going to be who is in Secret Wars as the big villain here. Knull, if y'all don't know, we've talked about it on the show a little bit. Knull is the god of symbiotes, so he invents, these symbiotes like Venom and that sort of thing. So we might even get, Black Suit Tom Holland Spider-Man, or, who knows, maybe they can bring in Miles Morales. I mean, I just don't know, how you would defeat something like that, and it would take all these guys. Do we think that this is the right move to make this the big bad of Secret Wars? And how would you even do that? And do you think it's right that they're just pretty much, brushing the Kang Dynasty stuff under the table?
I'll answer that last part first, because I just don't know what else they can do. What are you going to do? Wait until Jonathan Majors is done serving his time and then try to bring that back? It just wouldn't make sense. And I guess you could do an actor swap. They've tried it before, but we've talked about this. We've made fun of it a few times in here. We've just alluded to it, but we haven't outright said it. So let's outright and say it. The fucking Witcher. The fact of the matter is they replaced the lead character in The Witcher, and now they're not gonna make it anymore. They have filmed the final 2 seasons all at once, and you even showed me a picture of the promo. They don't even have the new character in it. So my point being is, I think it would fail if they were going to continue with the Kang Dynasty. So yeah, you probably do just have to scrap it. Now to the other questions here, it's not a guarantee that Knull is going to be the major antagonist for Secret Wars, but if he is, it's workable. I'd like to see something better. I'd like to see some Celestial type shit. Galactus would be fucking cool. But that's the only thing that gives me pause, is I just don't know how much. See, when we get the real big bads, and Knull's right. I put Knull at the tier right below it. But the thing is, we've got to outdo Thanos by a wide margin. It can't be close to where we kind of already saw this before. So I think the thing that we got to think about is, how do we really outstretch and way outdo Thanos? And I'm just not sure Knull is that villain that really outdoes it, where I think Galactus would be fucking perfect. I think that'd be a really great way to move into it. It's got to make sense with the direction of where Marvel's going. So who knows on how it's going to come across. If that is the move and he is the major villain in Venom 3, hope that they do something different than make the entire next phase centered around him as the big bad, and they move on to someone better, in my opinion, like Galactus, or someone of Galactus's ilk. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, you make a great point. I do tend to agree with you there. He just doesn't seem like he seems powerful, right? But I could see him as, a Spider-Man 3 big villain. But an Avengers villain, I don't know. He's badass, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's worth that build, right? But Galactus, it kind of makes me wonder, how do you even fucking fight something that big? That's the size of a fucking planet, right? How do you make it realistic to where the stakes are high and you have the motions for the characters and you really are pulling for them how is that even fucking realistic? And I'm going to turn it over to you in just one second, but just on this note, since we're here, do you feel that Sony, do you think they're doing the right thing trying to cross things over with Sony, or do you think they should just stick in their own box and stick to Demon Slayer and anime and do what you do best?
It's hard because, Sony's the one that introduced us to, they were the first ones. They always are going to want some piece and part of where things are going, and I get that. I just I don't think their vision always aligns with the greater vision, and so they do what they do, man. You got to take the Sony films with a grain of salt, and yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because what are we going to end up doing? Are we just going to end up folding every single other studio into Disney? Fox was bought off Disney. They already got the X-Men from the Universal rights. They're whatever the rights for some would be using their names and likenesses in their films and such. You know, where does it stop? You know, are we gonna eventually get Disney Harry Potter? Like, you know, I just don't know at what point is they're just a monopoly and now there's only one option and no others. Obviously, you still got DC, but those shit fucks down the street don't know how to make anything really stick with us, unfortunately. So it's hard. And then in terms of the quick question you asked, I don't know if that was rhetorical or you were genuinely asking me, but an answer for that is, in terms of how we would fight and make it realistic, a Celestial or someone that's the size of a planet, you know, I think that's part of the whole deal with Secret Wars is everything's coming together. Even people who normally wouldn't team up, people who've got any sort of superhuman ability whatsoever, it's going to be all hands on deck sort of deal. And it's going to take villains coming together with heroes, and it's going to take everything everyone's got, and it still might not be enough, you know, and I think that's something that'd be really cool to fucking see.